You've been lied to your whole life. Everything you see, touch, and experience, it's just a shadow. But what if the real world, the one that actually matters, is something you can't see at all? What if everything you know is just a blurry reflection of something greater? Today we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing ideas in philosophy, Plato's theory of forms. Get ready to see the world in a way you never have before. Plato's theory of forms is basically the ultimate plot twist of reality, like finding out you've been living in a simulation, but instead of computers, it's the universe gaslighting you. According to Plato, everything we see and interact with, the trees, the buildings, even your favorite pizza, is just a cheap, imperfect knockoff of something greater. The forms, perfect and unchanging concepts that exist beyond the physical world. The physical world is a mess. Things decay, rulers get corrupt, and no matter how hard you try, you'll never draw a perfect triangle. But despite this chaos, we somehow recognize universal ideas like justice, beauty, and strength. How? Plato's answer, because our souls have already encountered the perfect forms before birth, and now we're just stuck trying to remember them, kind of like having cosmic déjà vu. The forms themselves are abstract, perfect templates that exist independently of the material world. The form of a circle, for example, is a flawless, eternal concept of circularity, while every circle we draw is just a sad imitation. The same goes for beauty. It's not a person, a place, or a painting, it's an unchanging essence. Everything in the physical world just participates in or imitates these forms, but never fully embodies them, meaning that everything we see is, essentially, a cheap knockoff of perfection. To illustrate this, Plato gives us one of his most famous metaphors, the allegory of the cave. Imagine a group of prisoners who have been chained inside a dark cave since birth, staring at a wall where shadows flicker, cast by unseen objects behind them. To them, these shadows are reality because they've never seen anything else. Then, one lucky prisoner gets released. He stumbles outside, blinded by the sun, and after a painful adjustment period, he sees the real world, vivid, rich, and completely different from the shadows he always believed were reality. Naturally, he rushes back to free his fellow prisoners, but they don't believe him. They cling to the only truth they've ever known, the shadows. In this allegory, the cave is our physical world, and the shadows are the illusions we mistake for reality. The freed prisoner? That's the philosopher, the only one willing to break free from ignorance and see the world as it truly is. And the sun? That represents the form of the good, the ultimate source of truth and knowledge. Just like the sun enables vision in the physical world, the form of the good illuminates the intelligible world, allowing us to grasp the true nature of reality. But here's where things get even weirder. According to Plato, knowledge isn't something we learn, it's something we remember. His theory of anamnesis suggests that our souls existed before birth and had direct access to the forms, but when we entered the physical world, we forgot them. Learning, then, is just the process of remembering what our souls already knew. In other words, school isn't about stuffing new information into your brain. It's about trying to recover memories from your cosmic past. Good luck convincing your teacher of that one. Not everyone was sold on this whole everything is a shadow thing. Enter Aristotle, Plato's most famous student and ironically his biggest critic. Aristotle thought the forms were unnecessarily detached from reality. Why place them in some mystical, unreachable realm when you could just say that things have essences within them? One of his most famous objections, the third man argument, pokes a major hole in Plato's logic. If a man is a man because he participates in the form of man, then don't we need yet another form to explain how both the individual man and the form of man are connected? Oh, and another one after that? This creates an infinite loop of forms, making the whole theory kind of a mess. Oh. Beyond Aristotle, other philosophers had their own issues with Plato's ideas. The Stoics, for example, were materialists who rejected the idea of a separate world of forms altogether, arguing that everything, including logic and reason, was grounded in the physical universe. Oh, meanwhile, the skeptics weren't convinced we could even know such a realm existed, urging caution before jumping to metaphysical conclusions. But even with all these criticisms, Plato's ideas refused to die. The Neoplatonists, led by Plotinus, took his theory and cranked it up to mystical levels, arguing that everything in reality emanates from a single divine source, often equated with the form of the good. This version of Plato's ideas had a massive impact on early Christianity, especially through thinkers like Augustine, who blended Platonism with Christian theology. If you've ever heard that God is the ultimate truth, well, you can thank Plato for planting that philosophical seed. Plato's theory didn't just stay in the realm of abstract philosophy, it had some pretty serious political implications too. In the Republic, he takes his metaphysical ideas and applies them to society, arguing that only those who have escaped the illusions of the physical world and grasped the forms, also known as philosophers, are fit to rule. Enter the Philosopher-King, a leader who governs not through personal ambition or flawed human judgment, but through absolute reason and truth. Sounds great, right? Well, history has shown that putting enlightened rulers in charge doesn't always work out as planned. What starts as a noble pursuit of truth can easily slide into authoritarianism, which is why Plato's political vision has fascinated and terrified thinkers for centuries. Even today, Plato's theory of forms continues to spark debates, especially in fields like metaphysics, mathematics, and even AI. Do abstract entities like numbers and moral values exist independently of human thought? Are we still mistaking shadows for reality in some way? Philosophers like Descartes and Kant ran with Plato's ideas, arguing that reality might extend far beyond what we can perceive. Meanwhile, modern discussions on consciousness and simulation theory eerily echo his claims that we could all be trapped in an illusion. The theory of forms isn't perfect, it has its fair share of logical problems, but its legacy endures because it forces us to rethink everything. What is real? What is true? And are we all just prisoners in some kind of cave, mistaking flickering shadows for the full picture? I'll leave you to discuss in the comments. Do you think Plato was onto something? Or was this just one big, overcomplicated thought experiment? You can support us by subscribing if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and I'll catch you soon in another video.